Hey guys, what's up? It's Anna here with Canine Co-Pilots. Welcome to your first ever update video for my friend here, Ziva. Today's our first full day of training with Ziva. She's been here since yesterday morning. This is a great little dog. As you can see, she's kind of made herself at home already. She's super settled in, she's super open, she's ready to play, she's ready to go. So I'm gonna kind of jump right into it. Usually dogs take a little longer to settle in, but girlfriend here is ready. So before we get going and before I kind of show you anything right now, I want to talk a little bit first about some things you're going to see and some things that's important to understand about dog training and communication, interspecies communication with a dog. And we really have two categories of tools when it comes to communicating with a dog, and that's positive and negative reinforcement. A dog as a creature doesn't communicate with words. Their communication is not actually verbal at all. They do make some sound effects sometimes, like barking or growling or whining, but those are more emotional outlets than they are communication as a whole. Hi, sweet girl. So as people, we communicate with words. We use the word no, we use the word yes, we communicate our needs to each other, and we expect that out of a dog accidentally, but they don't know how to do that. So my job as a trainer is to teach Ziva what I mean when I say certain words. And in order to communicate with the dog or another species, an animal, I have to know how to start to bridge that gap in communication. And what I mean by that is for me to show Ziva what I mean by saying certain words, right? So I want her to learn certain commands, and I want her to learn to listen to me, if you will, putting rabbit ears around that. And meaning I want her to learn to do things when I say them, such as sit or down or come, just as a simple example. But she doesn't know what those words mean just yet. So I'm going to use tools that I have at my disposal to show Ziva what I mean when I say these things. And there's two different kinds of feedback tools. There's positive feedback and there's negative feedback. Some example of our positive tools are verbal. Yes, good girl, super, praise words, right? Celebrations, clapping of hands, that's noises, something she can hear. There's tactful, there's actual like touching of the dog, sensory, where it's like petting, rubbing, pats on the side. Those are all physical ways we can show the dog that was the right way. My favorite, to be honest, and the easiest one to use for anybody really with an open dog like this is food. Food creates a little positive chemical dump in their system. They get a piece of food, they like it, it makes them feel good. So pretty soon, if we start to attach a positive feeling with doing the right things, they'll want to repeat that more often because it makes them feel good. It makes them like it. So those are just simple, those are a generalized example of ways we can positively reinforce different behaviors as we train. As with everything, there's always there's always a negative to every positive and a positive to every negative. So the same way with the negative feedback, we have tools to give her feedback if we don't like something, right? So we can use verbal feedback such as words like or no, some kind of word that we add some value to. Some physical corrections or physical feedback would be using our leash and our collar. And there is a method to that madness too, little bumps on the leash to show her that she needs to change her behavior. Maybe using the leash to guide her to do something different. The use of our e-collar is a way to show her to change her behavior. Just, hey, not that, but look at me, I have something better. And these are all things we'll go deeper into as we move through training. But I want you to pay attention really as you watch these videos as much as you can, watching what I'm reinforcing positively and how I'm gently, this week especially, gently using my negative reinforcements to just put little marks on the things I don't like. So the first week of training, like we talked about yesterday, is all positive reinforcement. It's all fun, it's motivational. I want her to really look forward to working with me before I really demand anything out of her. And I want to make sure that I'm putting a lot of deposits in the bank. That was one thing I wanted to touch on, is if you think about reinforcement and in that way, like money in the bank, positive reinforcement is deposits. Every time you tell her good girl, every time you pay her with a treat, every time you pet on her, you positively reinforce that behavior. You put money in that bank, right? That bank account gets bigger. Every time you make a negative reinforcement, you use a little leash correction, you use your words, whatever, you're debiting out of that account. You're taking out of that account. You're making a withdrawal. So if you keep that in mind, I like to keep my deposits a little higher than my withdrawals, but I'm not against withdrawing from the account if it means I'm going to have a better balance at the end of the equation, if that makes sense. So that was a lot of talking. I don't know how long I yacked for, but I thought it was all important. So hopefully that makes sense, and I hope you followed kind of my train of thought there. But the first thing, I'm gonna get to work here now. She's entertaining herself with her own leash, so I'm gonna kind of get her attention and start working. And the first thing we do with every dog here in an effort to start teaching them the kind of ropes and just a easy way to understand our different feedbacks is by teaching them what I call the name game. And it's a multi-purpose exercise. First of all, if I can't get her attention with her name, then that's like the first part of everything, right? If I can't call on her and get her attention, I can't ask her to do anything. So before I teach this dog anything at all, I want her to learn that her name means to come to me for something good. So I'm kind of accidentally teaching her a recall even on day one. What that's gonna look like, and I'm gonna start by letting her just be distracted like she is. I'm gonna pick up the end of my line and I'm gonna call her name. As soon as I see a little flash of attention, I'm gonna mark that with my word yes, and then I'm gonna pair that with offering her food. So essentially, I'm taking her name and I'm creating a positive feedback loop. Hear your name, come to me for food. Hear your name, come to me for food. And by proxy, I'm also teaching her that the word yes has value. And I'm gonna use yes as my marker word as we move forward in training every time she does something I really like. So anytime I ask anything of her, once she does what I've asked, that yes is what she's working for all the time. It's a very easy, consistent way that everyone can follow, so she knows, cut and dry, black and white, what you liked, what you were looking for. During this part of her training, there's not going to be a lot of negative feedback, although if I have a little bit of a problem getting her attention, you might see me use my leash and just give her a little bump on her collar to like make some physical presence there, and once I get her attention, then I'll reward that really quickly. That's a very simple way to show her how to use her leash in an effective manner and not just as like a joystick kind of stiff arming her around. As we move forward with training, there will be a whole lesson on how to use your leash effectively and the right way to use your leash and blah, 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 but we won't go into that today. Anyways, I'm gonna get after it. Enjoy the video, guys. Ready, girl? I'm walking all over the place. All right, so I got my dog. I'm ready to go here. She's ready to do stuff. Great. Ziva? Yes. Nice. So right there, I said her name. She popped up. She had attention. I said yes, and I fed her. I'm going to let her go away. Ziva, yes. Good job, buddy. Ziva, yes. Good girl. That's great. Ziva, yes. Good dog, good dog, good dog. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yes, good girl. So I didn't ask for that sit. She'd offered it to me on her own, so I'll mark it automatically. Ziva, yes. Very nice, very nice. Ziva, yes. Very good, buddy. That's a girl. Ziva, yes. Good. Model student. Ziva, yes. Very good, buddy. Very nice. Yes, good girl. I'll pay that. So that right there, what she did is before I even called her, she looked right to me and engaged me on her own. So I'm going to reward that just because she is so kind of independent and looking around. I love that she's like, hey, what do you need from me? Anything? That's good. Ziva. Yes, very good. Nice. Okay. Ziva. Yes. Good girl. Okay, good girl. And you guys, if you guys heard just there, I'm starting to use okay at the end of the exercise. Okay is going to be my release word, meaning that she's free to go. I don't have anything else for her. And we'll use that forever now with her. So when she's free and off to do her own thing, the way to release her from obedience is the word okay. And she doesn't understand these things. That's very good. Yes. She doesn't understand these things completely yet, but as I use them in training and as I use them consistently, she'll start to associate these things with these behaviors. Ziva. Yes. Nice. Yes, good girl. Cool, guys. Well, she's kind of figuring this right out. I love this about her. I'm going to hang out with her a little bit and give her some playtime, give her a break, and we'll get her back out later and work some more. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll talk soon. Thanks a lot.